places really are more stringent than others, if you will. So JCPenney's may be more stringent than, say, Kohl's, or they may be more stringent than Neiman Marcus. But please, it is worth the shot for you to go ahead, give those places a call, or send them a letter. Even student loans, and now that's the reason I brought that up. Even student loans. So oftentimes we think of the student loan as being difficult to navigate. It's government and all of those things, especially if it's if it's a government loan, not necessarily private, but they're a little stricter. They've got guidelines that they can do, what they can or cannot do. Even student loans, do not hesitate to contact them as well, especially if you've been in contact with them about payments and whatnot and what have you. Please ask those people to remove that from your credit report. So it does not matter who it is, what company it's with. Please go ahead and do that. So make sure that you do that when it comes to those late payments and trying to get them off of your credit report. So what did I say? I want you to, if there are any errors on your credit report, just simply not yours, it's not right. You want to make sure that you file a dispute on that. If there are things that may be yours, but they are negative for you, you want to make sure you file a dispute on that. If there's a collection, you want to make sure you go ahead and you file a dispute on that as well. And then also, if you got late payments, make sure you file a dispute. Now, here's something that I want to let you know. So, if you file a dispute, several disputes on your credit report, first of all, they get 30 days if you do it online. They get 30 days to take a look at it, and you file them through TransUnion, Equifax, or Experian. If you file it online, they get 30 days to go ahead and look at your credit report. So I want you to be mindful of that and this fact as well. When you file a dispute, what the credit bureaus do is they take that particular account or that negative piece for you, and they basically remove that from your score while your dispute is going on. So when you file a dispute, you may see a bump in your credit score. When you see that bump in your credit score, that doesn't mean that's where your credit score is going to stay. Doesn't mean if that particular dispute comes off, that's where your credit score is going to be. It could be even a little bit higher, could be a little bit lower, but you should see a bump in your credit score simply because you filed a dispute. Now, some of you geniuses out there are thinking, okay, cool. If I file a dispute right before I go to, try to purchase that car, right before I try to go fill out my mortgage application, then my credit score is going to be higher. It will be a little bit higher if that's the case. You file your dispute, they take it out of consideration. Your credit score could definitely be a little bit higher. But let me tell you this, the mortgage companies for sure, maybe not the people who finance cars, whether whoever it is, whatever car company or whatever bank finances your car, but definitely mortgage companies are hip to that particular trick. So you want to make sure that you don't get caught in that trick bag. So you go ahead, you file a dispute, you go ahead, you fill out your mortgage application, and then they see what your credit score is. Rest assured, a mortgage company is going to pull your credit yet again. You're probably not going to close in 30 days. So in 30 days, they'll be figured out, hey, is that your account? Is it not your account? Whatnot. And your score will go back to where it was, or at least it'll level out. So mortgage companies are absolutely hip to the fact that if you file a dispute, your credit score could be artificially high at that particular point in time, and they're going to file another one for you. So don't do that and think that you're going to get away with it, especially when it comes to filling out a mortgage application. Now, again, other places, if you're trying to get an account with a jewelry store or, a department store, a big box store, or, buy a vehicle or what have you, they may not go that far as to look at all the information. They're just going to base their decision on your credit score. So I just want to make sure that you are aware of that when you file a dispute on your credit report. All right. Now look at the time. Look at the time. Already past time, middle point of the show. So let's jump to the question of the day. Question of the day is brought to you by Cute as a Cupcakery and Bake Shop, where the cupcakes are more than just cute. They're delicious. Get by Cute as a Cupcake, located at 2008 West 81st in Maryville, Indiana. Go by there. Tell them that the 800 credit score man sent you. All right, so the question of the day comes from Terrence. Terrence is from Indiana, and his question. Actually, I got this question from several people, and I'm gonna give this credit to Terrence. So, the question is, what's a good place to find your FICO numbers for all three credit bureaus? So, that's a really good question. Simply because if you look at different places like Credit Karma and Credit Sesame and all of those other places, you'll see two, maybe you'll see one. You don't get all three of the credit bureaus. So it's a very good question, and it came up several times last week. So people are really looking for this. The issue with this is, for me, is I hate to give you somebody that you have to pay for. Give you an example of somebody that you need to pay for to get this information, because some of this information is free out there somewhere. Maybe not all three at one point. But to answer Terrence's question, what's a good place to find FICO numbers for all three credit bureaus is myfico.com. They've got an app. You can sign up and all of those things. Issue for me is that you have to pay for it. So you get an initial offer, of course, for a lower amount. You'll get all three credit bureaus. You'll be able to get your FICO score from them as well. And then, subsequent months, you will pay an additional amount every month for you to have access to this information. But that's myfico.com, www.myfico.com, and you'll be able to get that information. And so you can get the app on your phone and whatnot. So again, my only issue is that I don't want you to pay for something that you don't absolutely need. Do you really need to see your FICO score every month if you're navigating this space? In my estimation, I'm saying no. You don't necessarily need to see your FICO score every month. Credit Karma, Credit Sesame, Quizzle, all of those places are just fine to be gauging if you're moving up or down or not. So your FICO scores are different. Also, that came along with this question really is about was also that your scores are different. You look one place, you get one score. You look another place, you get a different score. That's going to happen. You have a whole bunch of different scores out there, 30, 40, 50 different scores that could be out there for you, because all of the places use different versions of FICO when they pull your credit report. If you're looking at a Credit Karma or Credit Sesame, they're going to use Vantage Score, which is not a FICO score, and they emphasize different things. So since they emphasize different things for your credit report and your report, then it's going to have a different score for you. No matter if it's TransUnion or if it's Equifax, it's going to have a different number for you. If you were to say look at your FICO score at MyFICO, you can look at your score there, and they'll give you one number, and the same day you go into a car dealership and they pull your credit report from one of the three major credit bureaus, you're going to get a different number. So I don't want you necessarily to harp on the number that you see there. They should all be relatively close. So yes, you should have an issue if you go in and you have a 680 credit score, say on Credit Sesame. You got a 680 credit score, and then you go somewhere else and it says you have a 580. Then yes, you should be worried about that. You go into a place and get your credit pulled, and you got a 580. You should have an issue with that, because 100 points is way too far out of range. Okay, if that's the case. But if you see that on, let's say, Credit Karma, you have a 775. You got a great number on Credit Karma, and then you go to Discover. You go to discover.com. You give them a call, whether you're a customer or not, and they give you your FICO score, and they say that your score is 747. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. You're right there. You got one place that has an artificially higher one than the other, but you're right there. And also, you could go from car place right to the one that's next door, to the one that's next door, to the one that's down the street. You can go to several different car places and have your credit pulled same day, right behind the other, and you could get different numbers. One person's using TransUnion, another place is using Equifax, the other place is using Experian, or two places can be using TransUnion, but you get a different score. It shouldn't be wildly different, but the score could be different. And one of the reasons that score could be different is because whichever version of FICO they're using. So there are places out there that are still using FICO 3. FICO 3 had different emphasis on different things. When you get to FICO 9, which where we are right now, if you have the latest version, FICO 9 is better for consumers because they've taken out if you've paid off a medical collection, they've taken that out of that version, so your score is going to be different there. So I wouldn't harp necessarily on that. I want you to make sure that you are moving in the positive direction, that your score is going up. So if you're using Credit Karma as your gauge and you're getting on there every week or every month or even every day, and you see that your scores are going up, chances are that your score is also going up on my FICO as well, or is going up on your FICO score if you were to get it somewhere else. So make sure that you don't harp on those things necessarily, but that you actually have positive movement in your credit score. And what's really important is for you to look at the accounts on your credit report and all of the things, the negatives, the positives, everything, all the accounts, especially your collections or anything of that nature, and make sure that that information is correct. If you paid off somebody, make sure that it shows that you paid those people off. Now, you got to give it 30 days sometimes. Maybe sometimes you got to give it 45 days. You've got to give them that time for it to actually update. But that's what you want to do. You want to make sure that that information is accurate when it comes to your credit report. So, Terrence, thank you so very much. Terrence from Indiana, I appreciate you. Thank you for contacting me. You can contact me too, 800creditscoreman@gmail.com. Contact me there, 800creditscoreman@gmail.com. Send me your questions. I will answer your question directly to you, and you may become part of the 800 Credit Score Man Show family by being the question of the day. So, Terrence, you are officially a part of the 800 Credit Score Man Show family. Thank you so very much. And you guys, come on, send me your questions. I will absolutely answer them for you. Okay, so let's jump back to the show a little bit. Let me give you a couple more shout outs. I got to shout out Guy Frame. He is an entertainer extraordinaire. Name is Terrence Ford. He celebrates a birthday. He celebrated his birthday already, so I want to make sure I shout out Guy Frame. Yes, that's GODFRAME. You guys, so you guys check out Guy Frame. He has a new CD that's coming out. You can pre-order it. It is entitled Hello Jesus. Visit his website, GODFRAME.com. That's Guy Frame. And I'm telling you, the first single is a banger. It's a banger. So you guys go out and check out Guy Frame. And the new album is called Hello Jesus. So you check out Guy Frame. And happy birthday to you, my brother. And I don't know, did I shout out Juanita Brown already? Juanita, happy birthday to you. Juanita celebrated her birthday a week or so ago, and she was kicking it all week. So happy birthday to you, Juanita. And I got to give a happy birthday shout out to Anthony Bodie as well. Happy birthday to you, sir, too. So let's jump back into the show. All right, so we talked about those disputes, where you can do it. Make sure that you make those disputes online. So since I'm saying to you to make sure you make your disputes online for those items, here's what I want you to do. And here's why I say do it online. You're going to find other people that'll say, don't ever dispute with the credit bureaus, or don't ever dispute online. And I'm telling you that I believe in doing it online. Absolutely. If you make a dispute online, they get 30 days. They get 30 days only to investigate and come back to you to say yay or nay if that's your particular account. So that's why I say do it online. If you mail them a letter, which is nothing wrong with mailing them a letter. If you mail them a letter, then they get 35 days. So they get a few extra days just because of the snail mail to see if that account is correct, if it's yours or not, this, that, and the other. So make sure you do your disputes, but I like to do them online, and I like to do them primarily with the credit bureaus themselves. So TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. I like to go directly to them. Or if you were using Credit Karma, you can dispute something at TransUnion directly through Credit Karma, or you can go directly to Equifax or directly to Experian, and you can file those disputes. You can even call them sometimes and file a dispute as well online. On the phone. Now, I prefer the online situation personally. They give you options. They give you options in there. So if you own the account, if you don't own the account, you check this box because